And welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. In the movie Jurassic Park, there's a Jeff Goldblum's character has a great quote in that movie. He said, "You guys were so busy questioning if you could do something, you never once stopped to think, should you do it?" And I think that quote works out pretty well for this video because we did it. So, a little backstory to before we get into today's video, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to use my overhead camera. I'm probably not going to interact a lot with chat. I want to make this a quick video so people can go back and watch it. And then tomorrow's live, I'm going to do a more in-depth conversation on like the whole process and why I think it's going to be so crazy, why I think it's going to be so important. But little backstory is on yesterday's live, at the very end of the live, when I was reading chat, shout out to Katie. Katie brought up a point to me. She goes, PK, have you seen any of the information or any of the topics talking about the CGC graded comic book slabs were being cracked? People were replacing, like lower quality comics, but giving them like the higher grade, and they were all real slabs, they were all real labels. And she brought up the question in chat, is it possible to do it with the CGC card slab? And I told her, I said, I don't know. And she said that they were using a heat gun in order to make that process happen. Well, I had a heat gun right here, so I just plugged in the heat gun as we were on the live, and I just started to heat up that slab. And when I was heating it up, I started to see some things happen on that slab, and I'm like, wow, this might be possible. So as soon as that live was over, I spent some time last night. I was up pretty late, and I was testing it out on some CGC slabs. I was asking myself, is it possible? Can you clean crack CGC slabs and then replace cards? And what would the potential be for the market? And we did it. Not only did we do it, we did it so well. I've handled thousands of slabs in my life. I've seen in my lifetime tens of thousands, and I've personally owned thousands. And I cannot tell that this slab has been cracked, which is a very, very scary thought, especially for myself. And there'll be a lot of like long running effects for this. And if you guys stick around to the end of the video, I also did a PSA slab. Well, I'll show you if the PSA slab worked too. But after today's video, in my opinion, the graded card market, especially CGC slabs, I don't think the market will ever be the same ever again. But with that said, I'm going to turn on my overhead camera, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what happened, what the cards look like. So, if you guys are not familiar with my backstory, I'm not a big fan of CGC. I actually love the physical product. Well, I did love the physical product until last night. I actually love the physical product, like the slab. The company as a whole, in my opinion, absolutely garbage fire. Potentially worst company that ever just not existed in TCGs, just ever existed in the history of humankind, in my opinion. So that kind of gives you a little bit of like my thought process on CGC and my backstory. So this is a slab I did, and I actually decided to not like weld this one shut because I wanted to like go through the process of it. So if I just pull this apart like so, I could just clean break this slab right off. Now, if you know on CGC slabs, you have like these little triangles here. If you have a CG slab at home, pull your CGC slab out. So as I'm going through the slab, you'll see. So there's 3 little triangles here on the side. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 on the bottom. 1, 2, 3. Another 3 on this side. And then if you see, there's another 1, 2, 3 on the top. So the top slab, if you can see on my camera, it has these little teeny, you see the little triangles? So these little teeny triangles, they go into that. So you got 1, 2, 3 on the top, and then the same thing on the bottom. You see these little triangles? So what happens is when you set this slab and you put it down and it pinches in, those little triangles go right into that groove there. And I don't see any like issues with frosting. If you look at the bottom of the slab, those triangles, they perfectly go in it. And yeah, so this is the dangerous part. You could replace any low grade card, and as long as you have a high, like, we in the hobby we call them strong nines, strong tens, right? So if you have a strong 9, strong 10, you could keep cracking that card, assuming it's a higher dollar amount card. So let's just say anything that's, I don't know, $150 plus, that's a strong 10 that you know has that repeatability. Because at the end of the day, you think, grading cards in a high grade is repeatable, because if a 10 hits a 10 once, it should hit a 10 next time. That's not usually the case, but if it's a real strong 10, you'll have a strong likelihood that if you kept cracking out that same card and resubmitting that same card, you would get that 10 back, or you get that 9 back, depending on the card, depending on like how expensive that card is. And then all you have to do is you go out and you buy the same card, but in, like a little damaged condition. I think a perfect example of it would be like all Japanese cards. Japanese, like, for Japanese sellers, have a little different of a grading scale. They like call their cards double S tier, which is the best, would be like gem mint, S tier, which is mint, A, which is like near mint plus, B, and C. That's how, like, the Japanese people, they rank their cards. So like a double S quality card, which is gem mint for raw, will sell for a huge premium, that double S, because as a buyer, you know that card has a strong likelihood of hitting that gem mint 10 because it's a perfect card. But as you get lower on that scale to that A, quality, or that B quality, prices for Japanese promos drop drastically, especially when you think of, like, because at that point you're getting into more or less, in a way, damage condition. Like an A quality card for Japanese is still visually eye appealing, and for the untrained eye, they might not be able to really, like, differentiate, like, the nuances of why that card is being held back. But an A versus a double S, you can be talking 50%, 70%, sometimes less in price, depending on the card. And then that's where people have to get, super picky, super selective. They'll start buying up all these lower quality cards and just throwing them in the 10 slab. I'm listen, if you guys are like, PK didn't reseal this, the amount of heat it requires to close these slabs is absolutely nothing. It takes almost no heat. I mean, if you apply a heat gun to this slab, the CGC slabs, they will literally start to drip plastic. Like, that's how, almost like, imagine an icicle. Like an icicle on a warm winter's day. Like, the sun came out, it froze overnight, but as it warms up, that icicle starts to drip. As you heat up a CGC slab hot enough, it starts to drip. It takes no effort whatsoever to put some heat to seal this bad boy up, and you have a card that, I'm going to be honest with you, I cannot tell that this slab has been tampered with, and I'm the one that tampered with it. It is so cleanly done that if you handed me this slab, and assuming it didn't have, the obvious, the CGC suck slab in it, but if it just had, like, the bottom, the side, the top, if you just handed me this slab, I'm telling you, I would have no clue that it was tampered with. That is such a scary thought. There will be people out there that will take advantage of this, and they're already taking advantage of it, and they will print money. They will make insane amounts of money. I like sat down before this live, and I was like, you got to keep in mind, you're very, very lucky that the PK character arc that, this universe got lucky we went with, where this PK character arc is not the villain. But in a different universe where PK is the villain, hundreds of thousands of dollars, that was a dollar amount I thought I could potentially make flipping cards through different consignment services. You're going through CGC, resubmitting cards. Dangerous. There might be people out there doing this as we speak right now, and nobody knows. And, my only question I have now is, can this card make it through, like, eBay authenticity program. That's the only question I have, because now at that point, you have a real slab with a real label, and inside that slab is a real card. I'm not saying you crack these slabs and you replace the card with a fake card. No, no, no. It's not that. You just replace the card with a light play, or, call it damage. Like, keep in mind, for PSA 6 prices are drastically less than a 10, but there are things called clean 6s. A clean 6 could just be a very small binder ding. Trust me, there are 6s that exist. When you hold them, because they're in a slab, you can't even navigate that card to see correctly why that card got a 6, because it's like a dent. There are clean 6s. People could just buy up clean 6s, keep resubmitting that clean 10, keep rinsing and repeating, do the, quick graded plays, $40+ tiers, get these cards back in a week or two and start to recycle this with, let's just say, 100 higher end cards. And higher end doesn't mean Illustrator Pikachu, first edition Charizards, prototype Blastoise, like what I had in the thumbnail. Higher end cards can be, Poncho Pikachus, any Pokemon Center Japanese promo, any Japanese, and a lot, again, these cards have to be still easily sourceable raw. So it's going to limit what people can do it with, but it's going to be crazy. There is going to be such a problem that eventually happens. I don't know what to tell you guys, except for we will potentially be running into the scariest time in this hobby's history when it comes to graded cards. So, next, you're asking, PK, did you try PSA Slab? I did try PSA Slab. And while I was able to get it to work, it didn't break as cleanly as CGC did. So, I'm just going to let you know right now. And I've mentioned this before, and listen, you call me a CGC hater, call me what you want. CGC has a very, very good quality slab. It's a quality slab. It's very good condition. But this is where the but comes through. The quality of this slab is also its detriment when it comes to that heat process. Because it is a more quality slab, it's easier to regulate temperatures. It's a more quality plastic. Like, this plastic holds together a little bit better than PSA slabs. The quality of this slab, when it comes to cracking it, is its detriment. I'm telling you, these CGC slabs are way easier to deal with than PSA. It's because the PSA slabs just don't have that higher quality. So when you start to crack these, when you start to pull them apart, when you start to heat them up, you get that frosting issue that happens with these PSA slabs, which you do not get happen with the higher quality CGC. So the lower quality PSA slab is actually, in this sense, that is what keeps the PSA slab from being the bad one. But now, so you just put this card in there. This is a problem we run into. All you do now is you pop this PSA card in here, and then that's it. Now, I can tell that this CGC slab has been dealt with, or has been messed with, because of the frosting issues that happen when you separate this. There's a very clear indication about frosting. This is the problem with the card, and it doesn't take much to honestly, if you had a sonic welder instead of just heating it, it'd be easy. But this card now is just, you push these, they're just two pieces that get pushed together. At this point, this slab is now resealed. It's got a nice, so we got a 2011 Pokemon Black and White promo Victory Cup first place medal. It's now got a sweet CGC Sucks signed PK card. Now, the problem with this now is the average person does not know how to tell the difference. Hold on, let me see. So, if you take a PSA slab, which is not like a, not a tampered with slab, and you hold it next to each other, like, you can see, like, right here at the top is the frosting. You don't really see it with this one. It's not that noticeable. Like, when you know what you're looking for, you know that that exists. Where on the untampered with slab, it's not there. That is going to be the problem that people are going to very, very quickly run into, is that the less knowledgeable, the less knowledgeable person will not be able to identify this. I think I would have to, like, pinch this one shut a little bit tighter. But yeah, like, the average person that doesn't know what to look for, like, there's people out there that don't know how to identify fake PSA slabs. Like, the way to identify a fake PSA slab is the frosting that should be there. For there's 3 little bars right here. A real PSA slab should have that frosting. A fake PSA slab does not have that frosting. Where I just told you, the frosting is how you identify a fake card that has been put back together. The way to identify a real slab is you need frosting. So this is where you're going to get into the issues where you're going to start to lose a lot of people that consider themselves like hobby enthusiasts, but are not experts in this hobby. So frosting here, bad. Frosting there, good. I probably already lost some people out there. People are just like, what the fuck is PK saying right now? Well, this is the world we live in now. The world will never be the same. Sorry that this is the world we now live in. Hopefully CGC could rectify this. I don't know how. They'll have to replace every single slab that currently exists on the market. There will be some people out there that will abuse this system like no tomorrow. They will submit these cards to consignment services. They will submit these cards to PWCC. These cards might be able to make it through eBay authenticity. I am not going to chance that, because I know that if you knowingly send a fake card through eBay authenticity guarantee, you'll lose, like, your eBay. There's 0% chance I will ever do that, but somebody might try it. And if it makes it through eBay authenticity, we are in for a happy 2024, ladies and gentlemen. For everybody out there, I appreciate every single one of you. Do me a favor, if you're new to this channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you want to know more about this, if you want to know the process, if you want to know what did I do in order to make this actually happen, and you actually care about more of the nuances of this conversation, then I recommend you checking out tomorrow's live, because I will be going into this way more in depth. Probably, to be honest with you, probably be like an hour-long conversation. It's going to be wild. The hobby as we know it has changed for the worse. It is what it is. Appreciate every single one of you, and I'll catch you on the next video.